Friends, I am still finishing Halloween candy, but Disney has moved on. It's no longer Halloween. They're moving into Christmas already. As I record this, it's November, early November. We're releasing this on November 3rd, I think is the date that this is going to be coming out. And they've moved on. It's Christmas season already. I Can you believe it? I seriously, I cannot believe where we're at. As I got into my car this morning, I turned on Christmas music. I flipped the page probably just as fast as Disney did. And I caught myself as I was picking out music this morning, when is it socially acceptable to start watching Muppet Christmas Carol? I honestly, I didn't watch it last night, but I completely thought about it. And we are just barely past Halloween. So I think I'm going into the Disney holiday mode. I'm gonna go from one holiday to the next without even really thinking about it. The only problem is I don't have the mountain of staff to be able to just switch everything around as quickly as they do. But I can certainly start watching Christmas movies. I can start decorating things around the house. I can start listening to Christmas music. I think it's perfectly socially acceptable. So the other thing that I want to do as I open this episode is when when does it become appropriate to start watching Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas? Is that Can you watch that at the same time as you watch Muppet Christmas Carol? I think you can. It's Those two are probably my top five for sure of all Christmas movies. If you haven't seen Emmett Otter, you need to make sure you go out and see it. Let me know what you think of that one as we go through. So I'll tell you, if it feels like Disney flips faster than you can put away your pumpkin Mickey mug, it's because they literally do. We're going to get into that today as we go through today's solo episode with just me. And we are going to talk about how fast that switch happens and all of the magical chaos that happens during the Christmas season. So grab a drink, sit back, and enjoy. Hey, welcome to Hanging at the Hangar Bar. I'm Scott.
And I'm Candace. We're here to chat all things Disney as child-free Disney adults. Stories, snacks, and a little magic along the way.
Grab a drink and get comfy and come hang out with us. Welcome back to the Hangar Bar, everybody. Super glad to have you here. As I mentioned in the open, this one is just Scott today. We had a little bit of a recording time frame, tight timeline. So you get me today. Hopefully you enjoy this one. This one is going to be all about that switch flipping from Halloween into Christmas and all the things that go along with that at Disney. We'll talk park stuff, some of the things you might be able to do. We're going to get into all things Christmas, and you're going to probably notice a little bit of a shift from the show for the rest of the year as well as we get into the Festival of the Holidays. We talk maybe about our experience from last year at the Christmas party that we went to. We talked about that a little bit in some After Dark episodes last year, but I think we might get into a little bit more detail and that kind of thing. We'll see what the next few episodes have in store, but definitely you'll probably notice that transition into that Christmas. We have to move as Disney moves, right? Let's talk a little bit about that switch. Candace and I typically travel to Disney World in the fall. So we're used to seeing all the pumpkins, all the fall colors. And I think just as I was prepping for this episode, I made a realization that I want to, at some point, do a trip where we end up seeing both Halloween and Christmas. I don't know that we would be able to do like a Halloween party and a Christmas party because those are spread out a little bit. We'll talk about that here in just a couple of minutes, but I don't know that you'd be able to do that. But you definitely could time a trip to where you're there for Halloween and you see the fall colors and then you see them transition it over the course of, heck, sometimes it's a night that it flips to Christmas. I saw an Instagram picture on November 1st where they were saying stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning to watch them put up the Christmas tree in Animal Kingdom Lodge. Like they are working around the clock to get things ready for Christmas around the parks. And it's just amazing the army of people that they have that can come in and do that, and how logistically how organized it has to be. One night you're watching a not so scary Halloween party and watching the fireworks and come with that. And the next morning you're in the very merry Christmas time at Disney World with all the different snacks and the different things that go along with being there during Christmas time. It's just amazing to me that they go from taking down everything. Like again, I'm an operations nerd. A lot of you probably know that about me, but I like how they plan that out, the project planning of, okay, first wave is going to go in down Main Street USA and take down all the Halloween decorations, and second wave comes in with all the garland and the wreaths, and who's installing the snow machine, and really who's doing all of that work to be able to, from when everybody's gone out of the park at midnight to where when the first guests step in at 9 o'clock the next morning or 8:30 the next morning for early magic hours, they're seeing more Christmas than they're seeing fall, and that kind of thing, moving from October 31st into November. It's just crazy how that happens. Now, I will probably never be the person that will go to the park on Halloween and then stay up overnight to watch them decorate for Christmas. It's fascinating to me, just not that fascinating. So those folks that are staying up late enough to see a pumpkin and then watching them install the poinsettia in the resort that they're staying in, eh, mad respect to you, but that's not my speed at all. And if you think about it, there is something very Disney and uniquely Disney about watching the seasons change in a single night. But you start seeing that transition from day one. Let's talk a little bit now that they're making that transition over to when you're listening to this on November 3rd. Heck, they're probably done with all of the Christmas decorations. Folks are walking into the great big Christmas tree that's on Main Street USA. They're walking up to Animal Kingdom and seeing that beautiful Christmas tree that's there. This will not be an all exhaustive list. I promise you that. But let's just talk through a few of the things happening around Disney World this Christmas season, and we'll dig into maybe a couple of them a little bit more as we go through, and then some of these we'll cover in future episodes as well. So first and foremost, Mickey's Very Party is that happens every year. The first one is starting on Friday. So you're listening to this potentially on Monday. On November 7th, they're having their first Very Merry Christmas party. So they'll be full Christmas mode then. So some of the things that happen at the Christmas party are snacks that are themed to a hot cocoa and cookie trail, all of those kind of things that you can do. There's a parade. It snows on Main Street during during the party and all of that kind of stuff. There's a few ride overlays that happen at Christmas time that are unique to the Christmas party. I don't know that they're going to do anything with Tron, but Space Mountain has a Christmas overlay that's done during the parties. The Jingle Cruise is a party specific thing that happens all the time. So one of the party things that you can witness while you're there, even if you don't have a party ticket. So lots of really cool stuff happening there. So we might talk a little bit more about that in a future episode. Another thing happening within Magic Kingdom, you have the Frozen Holiday Surprise, which happens nightly. So Elsa lights the castle, and they're using some new projection tech this year. So it really is, it's so cool how they do that. Now, Candace would probably not say cool is the word to use, because again, it's throwing Frozen at the castle, which doesn't make a lot of sense in the world, and really. Oh yeah, we'll talk about, I think we've talked about that and we'll talk about it again, that like I'm not a huge fan of bringing things that pull people out of the story that the castle is trying to tell into just being a stage for another story. But I think watching all of that happen, and the new projection mapping and that kind of thing is cool. I still wish they'd bring back all the old lights that they used to have on the castle, because that was so cool. But I'm sure that doesn't work with the projection mapping for fireworks and that kind of thing. I mentioned the Jingle Cruise overlay happens in Adventureland. It goes throughout the entire season. It same dumb jokes, but they put a Christmas spin on them, and it's absolutely hilarious. I think that's a ton of fun as well. Then you also have Disney's Jollywood Nights, which happens over at Hollywood Studios. That goes from November 8th to December 22nd. So just Saturday is the first one of those. And that feels like an old Hollywood Christmas party that you would go to. There's live bands, food, all of that kind of thing. The holiday shows, they limited crowds for those. It's like an after hours event in that it's smaller crowds, so you get to do more, see more, and sort of be a part of it more, which is really cool. I think it's really funny. I think about all the different lands there, and you think about an old Hollywood party, but then you think about how would Bing Crosby fit into Toy Story Land or Galaxy's Edge. I don't know. Maybe Bing Crosby is a stormtrooper singing holiday songs. That might be kind of funny. Okay, TM that idea. That would be hilarious. I think we should do it. Okay, and then the other thing coming up doesn't start quite yet. In Epcot, they have the Epcot Festival of the Holidays, and we're going to talk about that because we'll go through menus and all of that kind of thing for that when in a future episode as well. That starts on November 28th and goes through December 30th. Super short festival, super fun. We did that one last year when we were at Disney. But you have your global holiday kitchens, your storytellers, your candlelight processionals, which is also the same time frame and has celebrity narrators telling the Christmas story with a local mass choir that kind of works through. And then it's just all the things that happen in Epcot are really cool. It's a sweet festival, and I don't mean that in kind of the slangy way, but everything I ate in that festival of the holidays was super duper sweet when we were there. I still my teeth still hurt from the spaceship Earth cookie that I ate. It so much fun, but yeah, just lots going on. And anytime you can get Neil Patrick Harris narrating the nativity scene, I just can you go wrong there? And honestly, I don't even know if he's doing it this year. They may have different people, so don't use this as necessarily your planning guide and go looking for Neil Patrick because he might not be there. But we'll talk about who those folks are going to be in a future episode when we talk all about the Festival of the Holidays. So then a couple of the other things to watch out for if you're going to Disney during the Christmas season, you have your resort gingerbread displays. So every resort has, well, not every resort, many resorts have life-size gingerbread houses that they make, and they're all baked on site there. They're assembled on site. Really cool. The Grand Floridian Contemporary Beach Club has one of my favorites. It's a gingerbread carousel that's just spectacular. It's so cool. And those will be put up by mid-November and go through early January when they take those down. And then it's one of the things that's really cool about that is the gingerbread they use doesn't just go to waste. They actually feed it to animals around the resort. So that's pretty cool too. And then also, if you want to, Candace and I talk about the joys of maybe doing non-park things when you're at Disney World. The holiday decor at the resorts is something to behold. They do such a good job decorating huge Christmas trees with stories on all of the trees. They do that at Disney Springs. They actually have a Disney Springs Christmas tree stroll that you can do that has dozens of trees all telling a different story. But you can go through all the different resorts and kind of see how they're decorated. A lot of the restaurants are going to have holiday themed seasonal items. It really is so cool seeing all of the different places that you can go to. Now, the last thing that I'll call out is if you are a Santa fan, there's going to be multiple sightings of Santa. He likes to hang out and do his final planning at the Disney World before he jumps on the sleigh to go deliver toys to all the kids around the world. You can find Santa from late November to December 24th. He goes back to the North Pole after December 24th, but you can get your photo taken with him. Sometimes there's multicultural Santas that you can find. It's go find him if Santa is your jam. And I wonder if Santa has to pay for fast passes when he's on property. Maybe. Disney doesn't let anybody out without paying for fast passes, right? So yeah, go check out some of those things. And if you do happen to be in Disney World, come out to our socials and let us know kind of what you're doing and where you're sitting and the things that you're doing and really let us know what kind of an experience you're having. We loved it when we were there last December, and it's something I really want to do again and find ways to sort of celebrate all the magic that is Disney at Christmas time. Let's talk a little bit about festival fatigue and some holiday FOMO. Now that I've been to Disney at Christmas, it is worth the price of admission. The crowds are going to be a little bit higher because it's Christmas time. It's decorated. Everybody loves Christmas, and the parks kind of get packed in that moment. But it's hard to decide when to go to Disney, right? You love the Food and Wine Festival, and that almost overlaps with Festival of the Holidays. It's just so crazy to me that they move from festival to festival to festival without really any break, and it just that overlap can be overwhelming when you're doing planning. So again, you can't do it all when you go to Disney, so you got to pick those things that are favorite, and then yeah, it's just crazy to me that there's so many things going on. And I'll tell you, like, you go and you're hanging out at the festival of the holidays, and there's a Christmas party happening or Jollywood Nights is happening. Like, and those parties aren't every night, so you got to kind of plan your trip around them. So what happens if you want to do both Jollywood and Very Merry Christmas Time party and they happen to be on the same night during your trip? Like, you really got to make a decision then, and that logistical chaos of how to get as much in as you can over a 3, 4, 5, 7, 18-day trip, whatever it works out to be. So I think what I would suggest, if we're talking about how to kind of avoid feeling like you're missing out on or things, or feeling like you're getting overwhelmed by all there is to do and getting sort of fatigued and kind of in your head, we make this recommendation often: go in with a plan. Disney World, unfortunately, is not the type of vacation where you can just go and say, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to worry about having any kind of a plan. At a minimum, you need to know, okay, what reservations do I want to have? What parks do I want to go into and when? Are there parties that I want to do? So my recommendation is just like pick one or two things on your trip, depending on the length. If you were going on a longer trip, you might be able to pick more, but pick one or two things that you know you really want to do. So if the Very Merry Time Christmas party is your jam and you want to prioritize the the cookie stroll and the parade that's there, go all in on it. Make Magic Kingdom your day, or go do something else in the morning, or hang out at the resorts, go do resort tours in the day, morning and day, and that kind of thing, and then go to the Christmas party and just be there. Be in the moment. Just enjoy the heck out of it. And don't worry about what else might be going on. Don't overthink saying, oh, but I might miss something at Jollywood Nights if that party's happening at the same time. Once you've made your decision, stick with it. Like, I know that's easy to say, but don't feel like you're missing out on it because you make it what you want it to be. Or flip side, if Jollywood Nights in that old Hollywood kind of party atmosphere and getting on Rise of the Resistance with zero weight because of the limited number of people, if that's your jam, do that. Don't worry about the fact that you're missing out on prepackaged cookies and cold hot chocolate over at Magic Kingdom on maybe a same night, or that you're not going to be there for that. Plan your trip around the things that you really want to do. Don't feel like you have to be one of those influencers that does it all and has to put it up all online, and over the course of the first 4 days of November try and get everything done so you can be the first to do it. There should be a next trip. I know not everybody can necessarily always afford to think about when that next trip is, and it's coming from a place of privilege that I say, you know what, I'm not going to do that this time because I will be back. There's just so much that's going on that you really have to sort of live into it. Festival of Holidays to me was just okay. Like, I probably should have tried more of the savory food. But remember, I really experienced the Festival of the Holidays kind of on my solo day and then on a day with our other guests while Candace was sick. But I it was Epcot's Festival of the Holidays was just okay for me. The sweet treats and all of that just got to be a little bit much. And it was just okay. The decorations were fantastic, all of that. And I'm sure if I were to go back and sort of prioritize that festival, saying let's do more of it and watch more of the little cultural shows that happen, that may have been better. But I will tell you that the Christmas party, Candace and I kind of have different views on that. Again, the parade was pretty awesome, but there's still pluses and minuses with the Christmas party and all of that going on. Like I mentioned, they're prepackaged wrapped cookies that you can just throw in your backpack, and they give you a lukewarm at best cup of hot chocolate or cider or something like that, and just kind of shove you on your way. They queue you up to just get cookies. You were rushed, and then the food that you got just wasn't that great. So we ended up not even trying to find all the cookies because they were that prepackaged stuff that and I know why they do it. They want people to be able to take it home with them or whatever. If they're going to give away 8 cookies, not very many people just want to eat 8 cookies when they're walking around Magic Kingdom. So you got to do something to allow it a little bit of freedom to take it home. But really, yeah, pick what you want to do and just stick with it. Pick what makes it Christmas for you so you don't get overwhelmed, overloaded by your time there. It's such a time to just go enjoy the merriment of the season and kind of let yourself be Christmas. Like every year I kind of wait for it to feel like Christmas because I have that Norman Rockwell version of Christmas in my head where it starts snowing, Christmas lights go up on the house, all of that sort of happens for me after Thanksgiving where I start searching for it to feel like Christmas. And I'll tell you, the first time it felt like Christmas to me was in Magic Kingdom, and that's last year was the first time it really felt like Christmas for me. And it's just such a magical feeling to get that sense of Christmas while you're in a place that has such nostalgia and such memories and such fun and whimsy as Disney World and in my case specifically Magic Kingdom. So pick that start line, pick what makes it your tradition. If you need to do something to make it more your tradition, do that thing within reason. Don't like ruin anybody else's trip or anything like that, but make it your own and sort of make it feel like Christmas for you. The other thing I will tell you, Disney does not set budgets for you, but you should set your own budget because it's easy to overspend, especially at some place like a festival or a party. Even though they're giving away free snacks, there's still that fancy thing. They pull out merchandise that you can only get while you're at the parties. So it is so easy to overspend. So make sure you're setting that budget so you don't get surprised by something. That's always an important one. And then the other thing that I would do, I would tell you is if you're going there for Christmas, there is so much to look at, so much to do. Park hopping, in my opinion, is less valuable during the holiday season. So you can really go explore and immerse yourself in all the things holidays at the parks. Find the ways they're celebrating different holidays around the world. Find out how they're celebrating different holidays at the resorts. Sort of pick what you're going to do and do one thing at a time. Like, hey, we're going to do a deluxe resort tour to see Christmas decorations and gingerbread houses. And then another day, you're like, let's go all in on Epcot. And then maybe the next day, it's let's go all in on Hollywood Studios and finish it up with a Jollywood Nights. Or if you're going to do, I think I mentioned it earlier, if you're going to do your resort tours, then go do the Maritime Christmas party at Magic Kingdom and go from 4 to whenever that party is over and pick your start line and do one thing at a time. At the holiday time, especially, live in the moment, be in the moment. And then the last thing I will tell you is let the magic be a little bit messy. Sometimes the joy you're feeling in that moment is not photogenic. It lives in your head forever. If you're having a conversation with someone, if you see something that's happening, like don't make your first instinct to grab your phone to document something. Live in that moment. Let it be a little bit messy. Find those moments to connect because I've yet to take a picture that captured the moment as well as the moment did and as well as my memory does. Even as my memory falters and changes it up a little bit to make it more magical. I know that's happening in my brain, But then I look back at the picture and I'm like, that's not as magical as what I remember. And I prefer remembering it the most magical way possible. So let that magic be a little bit messy. So I'll tell you what, Disney might be running on turbo speed into Christmas, but your holiday joy doesn't have to. You don't have to see it all. You don't have to do it all. Take your time. Main Street will still be twinkling when you get back to there. Look at all the windows. Look at how they're decorating. Look at ornaments on the different trees. What I want to hear from you is, what is your favorite Disney Christmas movie or song? Come out. Come out, let us know that. Favorite Christmas movie, Disney, preferably since we're a Disney podcast. Favorite Christmas song. Yeah, come out, interact with us. We'd love to hear from you. And remember, there is always a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and we will see you real soon.